Welcome.
What's up? What's up,
Friday,
man?
baby. It's Friday.
It is definitely Friday.
What's happening, man? What's going on, Ken? How you doing?
Good, man. Nothing much.
Nice.
Work.
That's right. Keep it busy, man. I didn't even think I was going to make it today. It's been a crazy day. I had two very emergency closings I was trying to get done. But yeah, it's been that type of day, man. How's your week been?
Been good, man. We're getting a lot of calls, working on a lot of new pricing, which is always good, trying to get those new deals, new clients. It shows, a lot of things. The one trend I'll tell you I'm seeing a lot of is a lot of people asking about ground up construction, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like it came out of nowhere. Like I would say like last year at this time, like
that is
no
definitely
one was
the
talking
new
about ground up truck.
Yep.
Everyone wants to get in it. Everyone wants to get in. So I would say that's been the biggest change in the last couple of weeks is the requests that we're getting for ground up. It's definitely gone on the up.
That's right, man. Hey, man, just looking for new strategies. New strategies to keep on, building up your business and real estate investing. So yeah, I get it completely, right? But for sure, man. Well, for those that don't know, my name is Danny Campos here at the Atlanta office with my boy.
Wow, Ken Board. I am here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So yeah,
yes, sir. And so just like we do every single Friday on REI happy hours, we get here at 5:00, grab a drink, talk about real estate, talk about what's happening in the market. And you can actually have some news that you just heard today, right? You want to spit that out real quick?
Yeah, we have TV in the office, and so now and then I'll peek in, and we had one of the financial programs on, and they were talking about rates, and some of the experts were on, and they're just talking about the environment now and what it was like in January. But what the projections that I heard is that they're thinking about maybe 2 dips before the end of the year in the rates. So that's good news. When it comes to, your traditional side and all that, you might be able to see rates down in the mid to low 6s, which would be huge because they've been trending around 7. And then they were saying maybe 2025, you're looking at maybe, of course, this is all projections, right? But, these are so-called experts. They're talking about maybe it even get in 2025, we might see 5s. So that's some good news. Hopefully they're right. And, we see that. So, people could get back in the market and everything. We know our side of the business doesn't really slow down in the investor side, but, we want everyone to be able to buy homes. And I know first home buyers are down right now because of rates and all that. So hopefully everyone will be able to eventually be able to buy a house for themselves. And, hopefully that'll be good news to everybody.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. I think at this point we are really, just like every single investor, right? It's been a rough, I'm not going to say a rough year because we've been nonstop, to be honest.
Yeah.
But a lot for the new investors, it's been a little bit rough on them. Not knowing what to do in this type of change, not to know how to adjust. And it's all about, trying to see how to move yourself with the market to make sure you're actually are able to stay alive, keep on chugging with the market and stay in this business a lot longer. So, but, obviously having to hear some news about better rates definitely helps out. But when there's better rates, something else changes, right? So it's like, it's one or the other. So you cannot just stay still in this market. You just got to keep on rolling with it. So
yeah, I think it's a double-edged sword, right? I think especially for on the secondary market and for investors out there, it's great. Rates, you're paying a little bit less, but that means you have more competition in the market. You're not just dealing with other investors. You're dealing with the first home buyers. You're dealing with the primary home ownerships, and you're dealing with all that, which you're not dealing with as much when the rates are higher because people are holding off.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah,
it's definitely a double-edged sword.
Exactly. Yeah, so everybody, welcome right now. Like again, every single Friday, 5 p.m. REI Happy Hour. If you're live on us on Facebook, live on us on YouTube, please share the link. Please share the live. Try to get all your family and friends over so they can also have a drink with us and talk a little bit about the market. Hey, you never know when the next person you send this live to could be your next partner, right? The next business partner. So It's all about spreading the love on in real estate investing. So, but thank you everybody that's logging in right now. Let us know where you're listening from. What city, what
Yep.
state? Let us know. Put it on the chat. And enjoy the show we have today, because on today's live we actually have one of our clients here at Campus Capital Group. We're gonna get a little bit into introducing him, but we have some really good topics on what an investor, the eyes of an investor when they go to see a property, what do they look into, how they actually analyze the property, and how he started not too long ago and is kicking it hard, man. So excited to have him on here in a little bit. Before we get into that, though, I know we have some news about Lending Highway. For those that do not know, we have a branch part of Campus Capital Group called Lending Highway, and it's a huge uh, company in regards to what we offer for all investors. If people want to invest their funds in it, Ken, give them a little bit of info on that one.
Yeah, so Lending Highway is Campus Capital Group's capital fund. Okay, so it is one of many ways on how we lend, right? It's a way that we're able to take the funds that you guys would contribute and deposit with us, and we use that to lend out to help investors buy those properties, those fix and flip properties. Now, it is currently short term, right? We don't do long term like DSCR loans or anything like that. So we're talking about like 6-month loans. So your money is used probably average 2 times a year. If it gets done quicker, maybe 3, but most of the time 2 years. So what Lending Highway is you would bring your own money in. It would be put into the capital fund, and we would lend it out, and you would earn where you have to do no work at all, because we have the people in place and the structure in place to manage it, to do the processing, to go by the guidelines, to go by regulations. We have all that down, right? Because we've been doing it for so long, and we do everything. And all you do is put your money in the pot, and you earn. And this isn't a limited time offer, so it's only up to the end of March. You get 12% AYP. I mean, that is huge. And you have the option to get paid on that interest monthly, or you can at the end of the deal, we could pay you in a lump sum, or you can keep it in, and eventually it could compound and you'll even earn more. So there's a lot of options you could do to earn that. And what makes it great is it's secured by real estate, right? Okay. I know a lot of people, you hear all the stuff on the news sometimes, oh, the real estate market, this and that. But when it comes down to it, when you look at the trends, the real estate is the most consistent investment you can make out there. It's one of the most secure. All right, to be able to earn 12% AYP on something so conservative and secure is a great thing. And there is no managed fees. We do not charge managed fees. We do not have long hold periods. So a lot of capital funds out there, whether it's a real estate capital fund or it could be a utility capital fund or anything, usually you have to commit to like 5 to 7 years. Where here, we're not doing that, right? We're trying to get in. We're in the growing stage right now. We're trying to get in as much as possible. So this is a great time to get in because we don't have any of those things. Inflation is what? I could be wrong on this, but I think inflation has been averaging like 7-8%. So this is an investment that you're able to stay ahead of inflation and really make an earnings back. And like I said, it's secure. So there's a lot of good ways. So if you're trying to really diversify your portfolio and try something different other than just keeping money in a CD in a bank or doing stocks or mutual funds, this is a great option for you to look into. That's Lending Highway. You could contact us at any of our numbers. My number is down here on the screen. You could call me, even if you just have questions and want to learn more on exactly the really like in detail stuff and how it works. I can help you with that and answer your questions. We got a lot of calls coming in right now. We're signing people up left and right. I think people are starting to wake up to there's more than just keeping your money in the bank or investing in a rocky stock market. And real estate, and real estate's a good way to do it, right? And this is a way you could do it too, where you're not doing the fix and flip, right? You're not really dealing with those type of risks and the stress and the and the time and everything else that goes involved with it, you're really just putting your money in and letting your money work for you.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah, I
that's
think
Lending Highway.
I think the best part of it I love is that if you haven't done any business, any flips in the past, you start learning the process. You know, with not even your own project, but somebody else's project, using your money, making some money. I mean, you can't beat that. So that's definitely Lending Highway. Hit us up. We'll definitely love to get you some more information on that. Like he said, like Ken said, we've had many people hit us up on Lending Highway. So we would love to definitely give you some more info on that. Perfect. Well done. All right. We got to get into the nitty gritty of the night, of the afternoon, right? And at the same time, I have to say, man, I'm excited about who we got coming on. And we haven't done the best part of Ken's night, of Ken's favorite part of the live. So we got to get in that too. But first, before that, let's go ahead and invite George Morales onto the screen.
He's coming up. Where is he?
Coming up. George, where you at?
Come on.
All right, George, he's coming on up in 3, 2,
1. Hey! Oh.
No,
not George.
Wrong one.
there he is.
What's up, guys?
I thought you checked out, man.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you guys doing?
Good, man. Appreciate you taking your time to get on REI Happy Hour with us, man. I know you have a really busy schedule, but trying to take some time to kind of share some of your experiences out there with the community, man. It's a good look. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Of course. Thankful for the opportunity, for real.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So go ahead, Ken. Let's start it out with your favorite part of the live.
All right, my favorite part of the live stream is we talk about what we're having for happy hour and what we're drinking. So I snuck this into the office, and I'm just doing a simple Jack and Coke.
Okay, cool. Okay,
awesome.
Good stuff.
Well, I should say it's Diet Coke. Yeah, I'm trying to watch my figure. So
nice.
Go
ahead, George.
That's what
you got?
I'm keeping it classy. I got a gin and tonic here.
Nice.
I didn't have a lime though. That kind of makes the gin and tonic. But
I was about to say that. I'm like, did you sneak in some limes as well?
Nah. So luckily, the gin that I have is actually gin mixed with elderflower. So it has a nice flavor with it. So
nice.
That sounds good, actually. Yeah. I didn't see much ice in there either. You're doing it hardcore over there.
Nah. There's ice. There's definitely a lot of ice. I think it just started melting. So.
He's been waiting for a minute. He's like, we get started.
Yeah. I think I made a drink. Wow.
Well, I got Wait, where's the camera? Oh, here it is. All right, here it is. It's it's all the way to the rim, but it's not a Modelo, obviously. But it's a so I had like lemonade from Chick-fil-A this afternoon, and I never drank it. And I'm like, you know what? Let me mix this lemonade with some Kettle One, and boom, got myself a little Kettle One with vodka.
Nice.
Oh my God, Chick-fil-A lemonade and vodka.
Hey.
There it is.
All the sugar in the Chick-fil-A lemonade.
Hold on. I do get half lemonade, half water. So gotta also take care of this figure. Yeah. So yeah, man. No, but everyone that's on the live with us, thank you for joining us. Please let us know what you're drinking as well. We would love to know. And at the same time, if you have any questions for us, any questions for George, please feel free to add it on to the chat if you're live with us on YouTube and on Facebook. So, George, tell us a little bit about you, man, your background, what made you get into investing in real estate, and how long you've been doing it.
All right, yeah, that's a lot. So yeah, from the introduction, my name is George Morales Jr. So currently right now, I am located out of Bloomington, Delaware. So I'm actually originally from California, military brat, so that's kind of a lot of moving around. So now I'm out here. Essentially, I came out to Delaware for schooling. I went to the University of Delaware, graduated with a mechanical engineering degree, and that's kind of where the real estate introduction came. I graduated, and I was working. I had a long commute. The commute was about an hour and a half one way.
Oh wow!
yeah, so I was making that hike. I was like, yo, I need a job right out of college. These engineering jobs are not as easy to get as people think. So I'm sitting at my desk and I'm doing my work. I'm finishing everything that I got to be done with, and it was completely boring. From that moment, and also, recognizing that I had 16 days a year to take off. Like that's all I got was 16 days of vacation / PTO. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I just worked so hard to graduate just for somebody to tell me when I can do something. And so, because of that, as soon as that happened, I said, you know what? I need to figure out a different way. Like, how can I make money without having to be at a cubicle saying, asking for permission to go live my life. So that's the deepest, that's the deep story. And then, I looked into stocks first, and then I started looking at graphs, and I said, this is completely boring. So then I started doing real estate, or started hearing about real estate. One of my really good friends, he was a realtor. So I had two friends that were realtors at the time too. And I was just asking them a bunch of questions, and they were just kind of like, every day at work, I'm asking like 5 questions, and it's just feeding me information. And then I actually found another podcast, the bigger pocket podcast.
Bigger Pocket.
You know what it is.
Absolutely.
Yep. Listening to 2 to 3 episodes a day, back and forth.
Nice, man.
Yeah, so from there, just saved a lot of money. That's kind of what happened.
Man,
Nice.
so you kind of like literally, well, obviously your mindset was at a certain place where you're like, I need to change what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
And then you just pretty much just grab these podcasts, grab these different companies that are literally training people on different websites, and picked it up.
Right. Yeah,
Nice.
that's it. I had, because I had a lot of questions, and unfortunately, I didn't know anybody who was in real estate. I still know very seldom people, but I don't know like a older figure that I could be like, hey man, can you like help me out? So I felt like I started going to school again, because from that point I didn't buy my first property until almost 4 years after that moment. So like 3.5, 4 years is when I finally bought my first house. So
Okay.
3.5 to 4 years though, I was just consistently listening and learning and looking at stuff, and then saving money. And so like,
Right.
I just graduated just to put myself back into school to learn a whole different thing. So
Nice. I mean, hey, there you go for never quitting, bro. There you go for never quitting.
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you have people being negative about getting in the business? Like, you going from being, graduating an engineer, and then what was the first reaction, the people you were telling, close family, friends that, hey, I'm going to go into this real estate, I want to start investing? Was there any negativity about it? Like, did you get any of that?
I wouldn't say negativity. I would just say like, you tell somebody your dream and they're like, oh, that's nice. Like it's not like it's like, oh, that sounds really, really good. So yeah. I think the negativity only came in when I was like, yeah, my future goal is to do enough real estate that I leave engineering. And then that's when they're like, whoa, but engineering, it's, you make good money, you're settled, you don't have to worry about anything. And I was like, I don't care about any of that. Like that, it's boring. Like my personality type, I should have never been an engineer. I was just smart enough to get by. But so that's kind of what it was. It wasn't really like negativity, but it was just like, okay,
That's the right support.
Yeah, it's like that sounds good, but then it was kind of like that because no one else really knew what to do about it. Because especially like, I feel like a lot of people my generation and in my age, like everybody knows, if you ask them regular questions like, yo, what should you do to make more money? And they'll tell you, put it in stocks and do real estate. Do they do it? Unfortunately, most of the time, no. But they know it. So it's like, I'm saying like, hey, I'm going to do real estate. They're like, okay, it sounds like a good idea, but good luck. So.
Right.
Got it.
Okay,
That
cool,
makes
man.
sense.
And then up to right now, just tell us how many investment properties have you worked on or bought?
Okay, so I have So I bought 3 and I've sold 2, and I'm currently in like the middle of the third one, the
The
most
third
recent.
one, right? Okay, cool. So,
And when did
and
you buy your first one? When was
right,
how long ago was the first one?
So I bought my first one in March of 2021, which was right before the spike. Right before that spike kind of went crazy.
Went up. Got it.
but
Okay,
you
nice.
kind of, I feel like you kind of stalled up, like in the middle of that, of the like pandemic, if I'm not wrong, right? And then you kind of got back into it about 2 years ago again.
Yeah. So really what so in 29, so now it's kind of give you like an actual timeline. So I graduated college in 2018. January of 2019 is when I was like, yeah, this
Okay.
this job stuff, I don't like it. And then that's when I kind of started doing my research. And then, but you know, I'm broke college kid. I'm gonna flip a house with no money. So I was like, all right, cool. But you know, luckily, great father. He's letting me stay. I was living with my dad at the time, and I'm barely paying bills. So just saving a lot of money through those years. And then once COVID hit in 2020, I was like, well, I don't care about anything. The world is ending. What am I supposed to do right now? And then honestly, I got back into it. Just even though I said it is what it is. It's whatever. Like I was still saving my money. And then my first house just came to us because of a conversation that my dad had years prior with somebody. So.
Oh, wow.
So like the opportunity presented itself, and it was like somebody that was like, hey, I'm going to sell my house, when we knew this person and they had an older mother living in there, and the person that was talking to my dad lived a few doors down. So they were like, hey, when she passes away, unfortunately, she's so sick, we're going to sell the house. And my dad knew I was looking for a house. He was like, well, let us know. Years come by, 2021, January, hey, unfortunately, she just passed away. And then right there, my dad was like, hey, man, do you still want this? How you still want a house? And I was like, sure, let's make it happen.
Nice.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
I mean, and I feel like that's where a lot of investors should. A good takeaway from what you've done is you've always kept your mind in real estate, always looking for ways of trying to grow, looking for ways of trying to get into the business, and then because I feel like some investors kind of put it on the side. If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, and don't really do much with it, right? Yeah. As opposed to you, when you're into, you want to get the properties start coming to you without you even noticing it, right? Mm-hmm. And because it's in your head, it's in your mind, you're always thinking about it, you're always talking about it, and then sometimes investors be like, well, I never could get my hands on a property. Yeah, because you're not putting your mind to it, man. You're not putting, you're not thinking about it 24/7. You're not talking about it 24/7. Right. They're not going to come to you that way, right? It's like you look at Zillow for a day, be like, all right, I quit, I'm done. I can't. No, it's
taxing,
right? Yeah, definitely. So absolutely, man. So out of what you said right now, or I guess out of all the flips you've done, what do you think has been the part where you've said, okay, I've learned a lot from like what just happened? A good takeaway from one of your flips.
Man, that's because I'm so like new to it. Honestly, it's like I'm unlocking a level of a video game every house that I've gotten. So everyone has been a huge lesson that's like, it's, kind of compounding on each other. So like the first house, I didn't even know how to put up drywall, and and I'm, my first 2 flips, it was, we had our main contractor, who was like a family friend, and then it was my dad and myself, because I didn't have the money I bought the first house in cash, and I didn't have money, to like pay an expensive contractor. But I mean, our contractor was really great anyway, so I was like, that was the go-to. But I'm actually in there not knowing how to fix a house, fixing a house. So it's like I learned so much from how to buy a house, going to working about title stuff, signing a seller's disclosure, and all this other stuff, and then how to fix it, what to look for, how to buy it, or what to buy, and then selling it. Second house, that's where Danny, you came in.
Yeah.
Because my realtors, JJ and Bianca, I was like, hey, I don't want to buy cash again. I want to, like, do you know of a lender? They recommended you, and that's where you guys came in. And so now that's the second house, is learning the process of how do I use a lender to purchase a house. What's different than buying cash? And then that's a whole, like, okay, so this is what the lender needs to see. This is how this goes. And now I'm locked at. And then now this third house, which is the biggest project of them all, I'm actually using a full-fledged contractor. And now I'm learning this whole dealing with a contractor.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
So it's hard for me to pick which one I've learned the most from. I mean, I guess the first one, of course, because I learned the heart of flipping a house, but everything just kind of compounds onto each other.
Very true.
Very
true.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got on a side note, I'm just looking at some of the comments that are coming in. And one stands out to me because I was a mandatory has said law of attraction when you were saying how the house just came up. And when you were talking, I literally was thinking about law of attraction. I was like, that's straight law of attraction. It's kind of like anything. Like, I don't know how much everyone knows about law of attraction, but there's plenty of stuff out there. If you've ever heard of the book, The Secret, there's different things out there that they talk a lot about it, but it's a huge thing. And I think it's true. If it's always on your mind and you say you're going to do it, or you put your mind that you're already doing it in your head, I think it comes to you. So I think that's kind of funny that you put it in the comments, but I was literally thinking it.
I was gonna say it too, and that's so real. I think it's like especially real in real estate, because once I was talking to people so much about how I want to buy a house and how my goal is to quit a job that, my friends, it became a joke every time they saw me. Yo, did you quit your job yet? Did you quit your job yet? It became a joke. And then now this house that I'm working on now, again, I was at work. One of my really good friends, he calls me. He just calls me out of nowhere, and he's like, "Hey, bro, do you want to buy a house in Philly?" And I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, my mom and I, we want to sell our grandma's house. Do you want to buy it?" I said, "I'm about to go to California like in 2 days. When I get back, let's walk the house." And he sent me the address. Before I walked into the house, I was like, absolutely. I was like, give me this house. I looked at the comps and I was like, oh yeah, for sure. But another one where, so two out of three of them have been like almost like handouts. It's like, yo, do you want this house?
Right.
Yes. But the biggest thing that I tell people too is that you can make yourself known, but are you prepared? Like, are you prepared? Are you ready for the opportunity? Like when the opportunity finally gets presented, are you ready to execute? And I'm just thankful that I was ready on both ends. So
I agree, man. And hold on, I gotta say something real quick. I just love the support you got right here, bro. You got so many comments right now. I love it. So that's good, man. You got a good support system, man. Man, they love it. They're loving your new venture, man. So that's a good thing, man. So, but I mean, that's cool. and that's exactly what I think. We try to tell a lot of our clients, right? That mindset is not easy to just come out of nowhere and have, right? You have to work on it. You have to really be very disciplined to make sure that your head is stuck in that game. Like, I'm gonna get a house. I'm gonna keep talking about it. I always talk about one of these one of my clients that was on an airplane and she was next to this guy that the guy literally asked her, "Hey, so what do you do?" They just started chit-chatting. And instead of her saying that she owns a hair salon, instead of her saying she owns a hair salon, she said, "I'm an investor." She never had bought a house before. But she said, "I'm an investor." Right. She said, "I'm a real estate investor." And she's like, and I told them, like, you need to have that mentality. So what happened? They started talking about real estate investment, this and that. Little did she know, this guy is a huge investor and a huge wholesaler. And they exchanged numbers, and now she's getting deals from him. So again, it's just she never bought a house before. This guy thinks she's like a huge investor, or whatever.
Valid, right? She's just valid.
Hey,
but it's the way how your mentality. You continue to think that I'm an investor. I offered this, offered that. Like I'm still learning, and hey, man, look at you. You got 2 properties from doing that. So good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I think I know the answer to this just because of the way you answered the last question. But try to think of something out of the 3 properties, everything you've done. What is the biggest challenge you've had so far?
Mm. Like, I'm laughing because like so I'll give a funny answer of the biggest challenge, which is like the
Okay.
biggest challenge that I've had in the house, like dealing with a house, was on the first house. I went to Mexico for a vacation right at the end of it, and I come back and talking to my dad, and I'm like, so you show me everything that's happening, and he was like, oh yeah, by the way, you got bats. I was like, what? So that dealing with bats knocking on my walls and hearing bats scattered, that's been the craziest.
That is crazy.
That's been the craziest thing that's happened, thus far. But
Oh my gosh.
to really answer the biggest challenge is, I think the biggest challenge for for me specifically, especially coming into it, like trying to learn everything myself and like kind of do everything myself, it's kind of like hard trusting somebody to delegate something. So it's like it's really hard to like let go of like some type of responsibility to like let somebody else take care of it. Like and that's just from that and that's something that I'm learning. Like instead of me being at the house every day making every single decision, now I'm working with a contractor and letting them make decisions and like letting them decide when they can cut corners and when not to. And it's like, that's a different thing. And honestly too, I think I would also say the biggest challenge too is like information overload when you're just starting. I think learning so much, hearing so many stories, you just don't know what to really do or where to really focus. Like, do you want to sell? Do you want to rent? Do you want to Airbnb? Do you want to wholesale? The information overload, and you kind of don't. Honestly, like without like a mentor for me, since like I didn't have anybody telling me, like giving me guidance. It was just this is my decision made up. But now when I talk to people, I'm like, here, dude, like I spent so many years like learning all this information. Just take this. This is what you need to know.
Wow,
now.
that's big, man.
Yeah.
That's big. Yeah, because you're right, man. I mean, I feel like me and Ken see it every day. We get clients that are absolutely like trying to like sponge in so much information, right? They haven't bought a house yet, they haven't invested yet, but they continue like to learn and pay for these crazy amount of priced out like events or courses, and then you get to your first house and you be like, yo, I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
Yeah.
So that is very true, man. That's very true. And I think we all as investors, when you put your hands on your first property, is when you realize how much on hand experience makes a big difference than what you've learned over the past couple of years.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Very true, man. So when you go into a property, because I think this is one of the biggest things that a lot of investors try to I guess have a challenge on, right, is going into a property and being like, all right, where do I start? Like, how do I analyze this property? What how do you do it? Like in your experience, how you've been able to do it yourself to vet out a property?
So for me, I kind of start off with like the aesthetic of the house, like how like what's in it. I'm like, what do the floors look like? What do the vanities look like? What do the cabinets in the kitchen look like? I kind of just start there, like when I'm thinking of a flip, because those are main things that when you walk into a house, like I've learned that, when you're selling a house and people come in and they see certain features, it's like, okay, this is a nice house. Like it could, when everything's cohesive, like, and honestly, like I look at the paint on the walls, because paint does crazy wonders. Like I've been in the house and I'm like, all right, let's paint it. I just painted your house and your house went up 10K. You don't even know it. Like so I kind of just look. I start with the aesthetic of it. Like when I'm looking at houses online, like how does it look? How does it look? Okay, cool. And then from there, then I kind of just look at the neighborhood, right? Like typical like check my own comps, but really the biggest thing that I'm looking for now is like, and this kind of comes with experience, is like looking at the price point of the house and what work needs to be done. And so like if a house is $150,000, but and in that area is selling for like $250, what type of work do I really need, right? Like how much work do I really need? Is it worth it? Because sometimes I'll go into a house and it could be a phenomenal project, but I'm like, nah, this is too much. Like I also know my limitations. Like, do I want to deal with this? Do I want to deal with a foundational like crack or something?
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing, like how I vet, is I'm looking at how much of like, are the cabinets that old brown, right? Are the are the toilet seats like just small round toilet seats and not the elongate? Like I'm looking at these certain features, and then I'm comparing it to the pictures that for the comps for like what just sold. And when you look at the pictures, you see the aesthetic in them, and then it's just, can you validate the price now? Like can you validate? And a lot of people are, when I've talked to people that I'm like trying to like give advice to, what they're like, well, what would be a good price for this house? And I'm like, dude, if the price doesn't make sense already with the rehab, that budget that I'm kind of like saying, like if they're asking for 150 and it's gonna take 40,000, like does that work in itself? Because realistically, to get to this level that you want to, it's going to cost this money. So now does it make sense? Because especially in the recent market, like for a house to go up for 150 and you try to lowball for like 130, it's people not taking lowball offers right now.
Yeah, it's tough.
So it's like I'm trying to make sure, all right, if I give them, if I offer what's asking, does it still make sense there? And then I try to, then I finagle the numbers a little bit, for myself. If I do it this way, if I do it this way.
Exactly.
What's your? I got now. Just talking about this, I came up with this question, thinking about this question. What's your ROI minimum?
Man, that's a really like technical question that I've really tried to justify myself. And honestly, I don't think right now I'm looking at a specific ROI number. And I know that was something that I was like hearing about, like, your ROI should be like, 80%, or it should be like this, like all like a certain number. But so now I kind of just look at like the profit, like, like this is going to be a lot of money up front, but I'm fine with that because I'm just looking at profit right now. So that way, once I kind of get a better system down into it, then I'll start like, okay, now I have this much money and I want this type of money to come in faster. I need to hit this type of ROI level. And I think the main reason that I started doing that is because when I was looking at houses and I was listening to bigger pockets, it should be like the 1% rule, or this type of rule. You start listening to this, and as a newbie, you start looking at stuff, and it's like, hey, this, looking at a house which could be a great flip, but it doesn't hit this ROI number. So when it comes to all the technicality of stuff like that, I kind of just like, I'm gonna just throw that out the window right now and just actually like, if I buy this house, can I even make money? Can I even make money off of this house if I do it this way? And so that's kind of where I'm at now. But now, as the third house is coming, I'm like, all right, let me bring in those ROI so that way I could be a little bit more efficient, a little bit better.
Nice.
Got it. Yeah.
Nice, man. Cool. And that all of that has a lot to do with your different markets, right? Your different markets are gonna have may differ on their return on investment percentage. So you have to kind of base yourself off of the area you're looking into as well too. But cool, man. Ken, I don't know. You had any more questions left?
I mean, yeah. I mean, what would you say to individuals that were in your position when you started, thinking about getting into investing? What would you tell them? Like, what would you tell them? What kind of advice would you give them? Someone that wants to start out from what you've experienced so far.
I mean, people who honestly, when people are like, hey, like I'm interested in this, I'm like, honestly, listen to podcasts and save your money, because I think that's the biggest thing. Is like, in order to even make a move, and I know there's books, how to buy a house for little to no money down, and this stuff like this. I'm like, there's still caveats to that. So I would say, and I apologize, it got dark. My window was giving me light, and so what I would say is just save your money and start to learn, so that way you can speak the language of real estate. Because that was another thing, is that real estate in itself is a whole like different language. When you start talking about this method, when you start talking about this, and being able to like understand and speak that language, when you speak to people who are actually in the game, you already have a little bit more validity. So I always just say, just study, just learn about what you want to do, save money. And then also my biggest thing is, don't be afraid to, it's a risk. Real estate is an investment. An investment, everybody knows, it's a risk. So you can actually lose money and you can make money. Don't go into the first deal hoping that you at least break even. I hope that they don't, right?
Yeah, of course.
But if you can break even, you learn and take that learning experience and then build off of that, because it's the knowledge, and the actual hands-on knowledge is much more valuable than just not knowing and like, hey, I'm gonna do this. So
exactly. I really feel like your first 2 flips is your first 2 years of college in this game, right? And what happens, sometimes you're in debt after you get out of college. Sometimes you lose money when you're out on your first 2 flips, right? But you learned, right? You lived and learned. You got the experience in. Now you're ready to go out there and get some more deals, and with more experience, now you're able to handle any challenges that come your way. So, but yeah, man, good tips for sure. All you new investors out there, if especially for the ones that are going to listen in later on, make sure to keep all those pointers, especially to get into this business, man. And you can't quit on the first hurdle you come in contact with. It's like you just said, George. It's real estate investing. It's a risk. If you don't start, forget it. You're never going to start.
Right.
Get your hands on one. So, excellent, man.
Oh, really quick. I'm curious. You're on your 3rd flip. What's the next vet? What are you thinking about when it comes to maybe a next venture in real estate investing? Is there something you want to try that obviously you haven't tried yet, or you want to do?
Yeah. So this one. So I have 2 answers for this. So the one that I'm doing right now, it's gonna be my first buy and hold. So I'm looking to actually like Bird, which is when you're listening to all the podcasts, Bird's the best method. So being able to like bird this house, it's an incredible opportunity, and then I'm gonna use it as an Airbnb. But so that's brand new. But what my goal is, for from here on out, or not here on out, but that I want to get into is partnership, because right now everything is it's just been me, right? It's just it's my money. I'm buying the house with what I can, but now with the capital that I have, I'm like, okay, can I buy one by myself and then also partner with somebody else? And so I'm trying to, and I always hear partnership is the way to go, because then you can scale much bigger and faster with that. And so that's the partnership side is what I'm really trying to get into, because it's untapped. I don't really know that many people, but I know enough now to try to make something happen, and that's kind of,
hey man, and you bring a lot to the table, with the experience, some capital. I mean, you got your lender,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You got your lender. So I mean, the sky's the limit, man. Sky's the limit.
Right, yeah. That's what it feels good. Now I got, I have like small teams and stuff now.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I have my realtors, and then I have you guys, and then making connections with new contractors. I'm like, so now when somebody comes and hits me up like, hey, do you know anything about this? Do you have somebody for this? Yep. Here you go.
Exactly.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you, George, for sure for being here with us, man, and getting on with
thank you
the
so
REI
much.
Happy Hour. Big shout out to
of course.
everybody that's been on the chat. We got there Sandra Morales, Mike Torres, Everyday Oprah. Okay, we got Oprah in here too. Raymond J, Bianca, Martina Medina, Wences, Amanda. So man, we got some good support here from you, George, as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
It's that Latino family.
They're coming strong,
Very
man. They're
cool.
coming strong. Cool, man. You have any last words?
Don't get caught up in the interest rate. Just buy a house. Like it's never a bad. It's never
Best
a
thing you
bad
can say.
time to buy a house. Everybody, because everybody's like, oh, you said real estate is great, and they're like, oh yeah, but I think I'm gonna wait, for the interest rates to go down. I'm like, man, who cares about that? I was like, talk to any investor. They don't care about none of that. They
Exactly.
just buy the house, and then you could refinance later at a lower interest rate. I was like, just get ownership and make you some money. It's like, there's so many strategies. Just buy a house. Stop renting.
There you go. Just buy a house. Be a t-shirt.
Buy a house.
Make that a t-shirt. Just buy a house.
Just buy a house, man.
I'm gonna sign your name on the bottom too. Nice, man. Well, good stuff. Appreciate it, George. Ken, any last words?
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. This was fun.
Yeah.
All right, man. Everybody, thank you very much for signing in with us on Facebook and on YouTube every single Friday. REI Happy Hours at 5 p.m. Come on over next Friday as we're going to have another topic, maybe another special guest. So please join us next time. Make sure to get that drink, and then so we can talk a little bit about real estate and the market is. Thank you, everybody. Have a